Everyone wants more money, but most of us weren't taught how to create an abundant life. That's where the More Money Show comes in. If you're ready to have more money, create more freedom, and experience more fun, turn the volume up. It's time to learn how to create the prosperity and life you have been dreaming of. Here's your host, Cassie Parks.
Hello and welcome to this episode. I am your host, Cassie Parks, and I am back with Michele Reynolds, and we are doing the Stepping into Your Future Self at the Paradise Valley Castle series. So, of course, this episode is brought to you by the Paradise Valley Castle, where we all got to step into our future selves. If you want to see where we were, you can go to paradisevalleycastle.com. Check out the pictures. This house is really gorgeous and fun, and you can check it out. If you decide you want to stay there, just mention me and you get 10% off, which is cool. So welcome, Michele.
Thank you.
Super excited to have this talk today, but I'm going to start as I always do. Tell me something awesome.
Oh my goodness. Well, I have just this morning decided to invest in 3 things that are important to me.
Yay. Do you want to share what they are?
Sure. So I'm like, let's just jump right in and let people know who I am.
Right?
So
I know you, right? I'm like, wait, is any of that something we shouldn't share?
I know. I was like, yes, perhaps, but it's okay because there will be other people in the world that want to invest in this too. So The first thing I'm going to invest in is a trip to see my son. I'm going to rent a car. And because my plan is to be buying a new car and I don't want to put miles on the leased vehicle. So I will be renting a car and driving to San Diego and spending time with my son, which feels super cool. And then I am investing in some good self-care. And what that looks like is I actually want to have boobs. So I'm putting some money aside to invest in looking and feeling beautiful. And I already feel beautiful, but I would love to have, something that helps my dress stay up. And then the third thing I'm investing in is I totally lost my train of thought now. A cycle, like a long distance road bike, like people do races with. And I have manifested a riding partner and a team. I have a team that wants me to join their team. I don't even have a cycle. I have a regular grandma bike in the garage, and I'm going to be upgrading so that I can live my healthy lifestyle that supports who I am. So
I love it. I also I didn't remember the second thing. I just remembered the bike and the trip. I'm like, yeah, we should share those. The bike. You're getting a bike.
But there's like millions of people who want boob jobs. This is okay.
It is okay. And it's okay to want what you want. And it's okay to invest in that, right? It's and this didn't come up yesterday. You've always wanted.
No. Yes,
right?
I know. I always have.
Yeah. And so it's okay. It's so okay to want what you want. It's awesome.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I love it.
And I can't wait till we do that interview when I'm like, look at these girls. Like, that's going to be the best podcast ever.
It is, right? Oh, yes. Man, it's going to be awesome. Oh, man. And then that photo shoot's going to be really fun.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Many parts of it.
I love it. Owning who you are and what you want is so much of what goes on in the Enchanted Circle.
Yes.
So fun. How do you think every level you own more and more of what you want? Like, this wasn't on the original topic question, but I'm going to ask it. How do you think, or how do you see that make things happen faster in your life?
Oh my gosh. There becomes this, I think it makes you an attractive person is my ultimate answer. But the more I live who I am, people are watching and being like, wow, you really got it together. And it's because with the attractive person becomes this confidence, sure, vibrant, like yummy thing that people, they want, and I've had people be like, I want to be your friend, or, I want to be in your presence. And it's because I'm growing into who I am every single day, and they see the growth and they want to grow too. Most people want to grow.
Yeah. We just don't know how.
Right.
Yeah. I love it. So, first question, how is going to Arizona and staying at the Paradise Valley Castle and with all of us, it's not just about it was everything combined. Mm-hmm. How is getting on a plane, taking a trip and going to be there different than the everyday stepping into your future self?
Yeah. Well, I loved it because it was in the middle of the week.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
And
That's intentional.
it was intentional. And before I would have said, oh, I can't do it, I've got client work. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, it's amazing how the client work got done. And but what else was great about it is, guys, this is a multi-million-dollar castle, and my future self would hop on a plane, pack very little stuff, go, and I didn't know what our weekend, or I call it a weekend in the middle of the week, was going to be like. And so I packed stuff that I was like, Arizona, warm weather. Normally for future self photo shoots, I dress up. And on this one, I was like, no, my future self is going to Arizona with her girlfriends. She's not dressing up. She's going to be casual and calm and cool and collected and be. And that was the difference for me this time at the castle. Was I just was, and I didn't really, I knew we were going to have a photo shoot, but it didn't matter. I still wanted to show up exactly how I am. And I love that it's getting closer and closer and closer to who I am every day anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was huge. And that's because it doesn't mean that you didn't show up as your future self in because when we're going out for cocktails, right? That's going out to happy hour, that I feel like you show up as your future self would show up. But being in a different location, a different setting, it asks you to be, okay, who is your future self in this situation? Who is she, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, it was, it just took it to another level. It just up leveled it, where it was like, yes, this is what we do as girlfriends in the future. Is we literally pick an amazing place in the world and everybody meets there. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. And that's huge in your future self. Very, very much.
Yes.
So where did you find your future self in the castle and in the experiences over our midweek getaway?
Oh my gosh, I wish I had my list right here. It's over there, but it's okay. I'm gonna just live it. So the first thing was when we got there, off the airplane, I met some people in the airport, which would be something that I do. And we went to rent the car, and they said, you're on the 5-star level. You can pick any car you want. And I was like, yes. And so everyone was like, "Ooh, that feels fancy. What'd you do?" I'm like, nothing.
Right?
I didn't do anything. And so we picked an Infinity, which was big and huge and room for all the bags. And I would never think about driving an Infinity now, but now that I have, I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely drive an Infinity.
Right?
It was nice. And it felt like, that's something that I would hook my bike up to and go to a race. Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, it just felt so good. Versus myself now would pick a sports car.
Right.
And
isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it's very interesting. So, but I'm like, after I drove that, I'm like, I really don't need a sports car anymore. I actually really liked the power of that vehicle. It was huge, and I loved it. It was like a truck.
Yeah. Isn't that awesome? Because that's the type of thing that only when we put ourselves in situations where we have to step into our future self, a lot of times that we see that stuff, right? Because you got upgraded because you were in the energy of traveling as your future self, these things naturally happen, right? Upgrades, stuff. And then you were able to choose, and you get to see like, oh yeah, no, this is her. Right. And it's that window you get to see. And every time you guys do the workshop, every time you script, you see a little bit more of her. But stepping into it, you also get to see these places that you just couldn't see otherwise.
Yeah, it was fabulous. So then we go to the castle, and there's a round circular driveway. Well, in my story, I have a round circular driveway, and I have a gated, like the gate, but the gates were open, and my gates were always open.
Yeah.
I was like, yes. So right from the outside, I was like, this is going to be an awesome weekend.
Yes.
And then, of course we get there, and people rush out to see us. So that was cool. Like we had, people were excited to see us. There was a welcoming party, and we walk into this house that's just like, oh my goodness, it's gorgeous. And yet it's what I would have expected to walk into.
Right.
And so it was cool to just look at the neat features of how those multi-million-dollar earners, lifestyle people did their home compared to how I do my home.
Yeah.
Right. And then Cassie says, well, you and Annie are in that room. And I was like, are you kidding me? So this huge room, and there's 3 twin beds and a huge king bed. And then there's a fireplace with 2 chairs, a blanket that's the softest blanket in the world. And then there's this bathroom that's like a spa bathroom. It's probably bigger than my living room, at least bigger than my living room. Maybe my living room and my kitchen has this great tub in it. 2 bath towels hanging there, white bath towels. I was like, oh, hello, heaven. And then this shower that has these double heads on them. And that is definitely in my script, in my future life story. And I was like, oh yeah, I've arrived. And so this is the great thing about that room is I didn't know where everyone was staying. And I misunderstood. I thought you were staying with me in the room. And I was like, and I didn't like put 2 and 2 together, but it was like 11:59 at night. And I was talking to the 2 people that were awake and I was like, where's Cassie? And they're like, I don't know. I think she went to bed. I'm like, so you're telling me no one's sleeping in that king size bed? And so I literally crawled up in that bed and I just owned that baby. It was mine. And I slept amazing. And I woke up and there's a chandelier above my head, a fireplace to my left, a huge spa bathroom. And I was like, I feel really good.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I was like, now this is what I'm talking about.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep. I knew like as soon as I was like, this is your room.
Yep. And then Annie just got in the one bed and I didn't even know the second night that someone else stayed in the room. I had no clue. I just totally was like all about me and my bed. I just learned that. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know you were there. Which I kind of feel bad about, but I was like, she must've been asleep or whatever, or came after me or it doesn't matter. I was stretched out, like, every limb was like, yes, love this.
Right. Yeah. You were owning it.
Yep. And then a couple other experiences. The kitchen was amazing. And I love to cook, but I loved that there was someone there cooking. And I ate healthy the whole weekend and I didn't touch any food prep. And people even brought me my coffee. And I was like, this is definitely my future life.
Yes.
Yep. Did a conference call poolside the first night with my team. And then the second night, I was on a company call. And so just because there was some noise in the house, I went in the bedroom and they could see palm trees behind me. And they're like, wow, I had my makeup done. They're like, wow, you look beautiful. And I was like, thank you. And so it just, what happened is the whole company was watching me, not just, people on Facebook and friends and the people there, but a whole community of people is watching me grow. Mm-hmm. And they're like, you are on fire right now is what everyone keeps telling me. I'm like, it's because I'm being who I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what else? Oh man, I don't know. When I was getting my makeup done, I was telling the makeup artist that I have a pilot that will fly me to events. Mm-hmm. And we don't have the plane yet, but we do have the pilot. And that in the future, I do a lot of speaking on stage and I've got a hair and a makeup person. So I wanted her contact information, which we didn't do, which is okay because she'll find me if she's my person. But she said, well, do you have your hairspray with you? And I said, I do. And so she said, go get it. And so she fixed my hair and my makeup.
I love it.
I know. And it didn't cost me anything. It was like, She was just like, let me make you beautiful. And I was like, yes. So you have to ask for what you want, right?
Yeah. And it gives the opportunity. She had a blast doing that. Like she wanted, I think some of her future self or something that she wants. Like she loves to do the hair too. Like maybe not full on hair, but she loves that. Right.
Well, and I asked her, I said, when I'm, speaking, traveling and doing my thing, would you ever consider flying with me and just being there for the event and helping me and my peeps be beautiful? And she's like, yes. And so, it's helping her grow too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. So along the way, how are you asked to step into your future self? Because I think when we decide, when we decide like, okay, I'm going on this trip and I'm going to be my future self, you get asked along the way to choose her and to be her. So what were 1 or 2 or 5 ways that you were asked to step into your future self on the journey and experience at the Paradise Valley Castle?
Yep. So there's a couple ways. The first way was, how are you going to dress?
Mm-hmm.
And I normally, for almost every future self day, I go buy clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And this time I decided that I actually had everything I needed. And
I
so
loved that.
I know I didn't shop. I went into my closet and everything fits in my closet that's there. And I just picked what I would wear in Arizona. It was fabulous.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Including the flip-flops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yep. And then, as I was packing, I was like, am I really going to need this? And I would put stuff away, and I would, I literally took swimsuits and cover-ups and flip-flops and sundresses. And I think I had one dress that was like for a cocktail hour or something like that, but that's it. And everything else was completely casual, and including, my makeup, my jewelry. Like I just was who I was. And then another way, my 2, 3, or 5, we have a photographer that we love. Oh my goodness, she's fabulous. And during our photo shoot day, they said, everyone bring your robes. And my robe is from my very, very first workshop. And so the cool thing about it is we explained in my very first workshop days like this, where we would get together and hang out and be, and the robe came up in a little bit different situation, but I would use that same robe in the girlfriend situation.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, wow, all of those scripts are really either alive or coming alive still. Mm-hmm. And it's really cool. And then in that big king size bed, I was asked to step out of my comfort zone and do some, photo session pictures that really stretched me as a person, and including crying and, but what the photographer said was, that's so authentic. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that is definitely who I am. And so it was just a really cool experience to know that I was, again, capable to do more than I thought I could do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I love about since we did one-on-one coaching, is that I think you're a natural like coaching student, right? Like you're naturally pretty good at any exercise that someone gives you, or in the past you just didn't do the ones that you wouldn't be good at, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
Now, right? That's different since we've done one-on-one coaching. But what I have seen since that moment is you open up to be coached. Like it's like you unlocked the door to like the actually be coached, and to have her push you, and to allow just more coaching and more opportunities to just take it to a new level. So I thought that was really cool.
Thank you.
To witness. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and in so many places in my life, I am the coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think you have to unlearn being the coach to be coachable.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And did you feel like you really stepped into that during our time at the castle?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
From the moment I got on the plane till the moment still, I don't think it's gone away.
Right. That's the thing about that experience. It locks it in even tighter, right? There are pieces of you that can never be undone of your future self. Right. Yeah.
Yep. Pretty good. In fact, I looked at pictures from our very first workshop yesterday and pictures like right now, and I just see a completely different person.
It is. And when you posted that picture, I remembered you scripting about helping people get healthy, and you're like, I don't know how I'm going to do that, but that's what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. Yep. Which is awesome.
I know. It's funny how things come to you when you put it out there.
Yep. So what did you see or find out about your future self that you didn't know before this experience? We talked about the car was definitely one.
Yeah, the car was definitely.
Yeah. What other ways did you see like, oh, she's like that, or she's,
Yeah, there was a situation where I had a really bad headache, and I don't get headaches. And it was interesting in that our friend Annie, she is, she does some, I don't know, work on people. I don't know what you even call it. But she was like, do you want me to help you? I'm like, absolutely. And so she did her thing, and my headache went away. And it was, I was vulnerable and didn't know what I was really stepping into, but I let her help me. And I was able to be helped, which I think is new for me, because I'm usually the helper. And yeah, it was just nice to be taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest way, right? Like you allowed yourself to be taken care of and supported and all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cooked for.
Yeah. Which is huge.
It's huge versus me going, I'm going to do this. I'm going to, like I was just present. And I just, the makeup artist and the cook and everything. It was just, felt so normal.
Yeah.
But yet, does that happen every day now? No, but I'm thinking I'm like, maybe someone needs to come cook for me.
Right?
I can tell them what I want and how to do it, and then I can leave them alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? I love it. What has changed? Any thoughts, beliefs, or actions since you've returned?
Thoughts, beliefs, or actions? Yeah, definitely. Well,
which a better way to ask this question is probably, how have you integrated your future self back into your life? Like, what did you bring back and integrate?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I brought back good energy. And so it's been very attractive for people to, just do life with me. It's been very interesting what's happened since then. Lots of people asking me to kind of step into like power positions. And I'm like, well, of course I'll do this. Some pretty big opportunities have come my way. And another way is I caught myself, like in the past, financially, I would have just done something, made a decision and just done something. And I actually caught myself and said, is that really what I would do? And so Cassie and I talked through that. And, after some advice, I then was able to just today come back and be like, no, this is actually what I'm doing with it. And it felt way more powerful, way more fun, and just definitely who I am. And so, I wouldn't say that I do think being your future self, you need support, because if you'd already be your future self if you didn't need support. Yeah. So it's, and again, that's very much what showed up in that castle, is that, I am a person that has support in my life.
And who allows it, right?
Right. It makes me more powerful and more strong and more impactful and more attractive when I let other people support me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So as we, before we wrap up, tell people if they want to, get healthier and wealthier with you, how do they connect with you? How do they find out more if they're like, I want to be healthier?
You guys are going to love this. I am changing my name. So I'm actually getting fingerprints done tomorrow to, make sure everything's good, but it's Michele Voris, VORIS.com. And Michele has one L in it. So Michele with one L, Voris.com.
I love it. And so give us, as to somebody listening who wants to step into their future self, what advice would you give them?
I would say trust the process and just do what Cassie says. I am the girl who had to do it I didn't have to. I did it my way. And it took a lot longer than if I would have just trusted her. So just follow the system, ask your questions, be vulnerable. And when she, even when she coaches you and it's uncomfortable and you don't like it, just sit with it and do it anyway. Because it's when you do, you're just going to get there faster.
Yeah. I love that. Cool. Any other things you feel like you must share before we wrap up?
Well, I would say everybody needs to go to the Paradise Valley Castle, and tell them Cassie sent you and save some money. And it's absolutely life-changing. And go there with a group of people you absolutely love and adore.
Yes, I love it. Thank you, Michele, for being here and sharing this part of your journey. And thank you all for listening. Make sure to check out the next Future Self interview or the next interview of Michele's in the Year of Growth series. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you for joining us on The More Money Show. To learn more about enrolling in the Enchanted Circle, go to cassieparks.com.